So this is a question that I want to, with some of my clients, they're asking me about, they're getting to a point where they're in a business and they're probably starting to realise that maybe that's not the business for them. Perhaps they probably got into it for money, and they're not really enjoying it, and probably their own lack of enjoyment is sort of slowing the business down.
Yes.
Have you been through anything like that in your own sort of entrepreneur?
Yeah, definitely. Look, everyone looks at myself and even Jack and go, "Oh, it's all worked out well for you guys." Yeah. I've lost money as well, and my ego's got it in the way. Look, when we had our real estate, I was in business with my brother in the real estate business, and sometimes your ego gets in the way, or your pride, especially as an Italian man. Look, our Italian pride definitely gets in the way. My father, when the real estate business was struggling a little bit, a few years back, my father gave us some advice. He said, like, what do you think? What business do you think you're in? This is an immigrant, came here on a boat, never studied business or anything. He's like, what business do you think you're in? And I said, well, we're in business of property. We list and sell real estate. We rent real estate now. We list and sell. That's what the business that we're in. And he's like, no, what business do you think you're in? I said, well, I don't know, real estate. And he's like, no. I'm thinking, where's he getting at with this? And he's like, you're in the business of people. Like, I think when you can learn to swallow your pride and put your ego to the side, you can make better, pragmatic business decisions. And if you're going to fail quickly and cut your losses. Yeah, that would be my advice. And don't be afraid to, the great thing about Australia, it's the land of opportunity, right? So, some people say it's easier for you to say because you're not married and you don't have kids, but I have a lot of financial responsibilities. I have hundreds of staff within the business that I'm an owner or a shareholder in or manage, and so I do have responsibility. Like, if I said tomorrow, I'm going to go, throw it all away, or if I were to make some really poor decisions, people would not have jobs, and those people couldn't be afford to send their kids to those schools and put food on the table. So as a 29-year-old, that's a big responsibility to carry. And so, when I make bad decisions, or not bad, there's no bad decisions. When I make a decision and it doesn't quite work out, I am open and not egotistical enough to think that, I'm good at cutting my losses now. Yeah. I've learned to do it. It's something, and I'm glad I learned it at in my 20s and not my 40s when I'm married with kids. And most probably you've got to have the losses to start to realise when to cut them. Yeah, correct. When I was younger, I wanted to learn how to play poker. And I said to my mate, who was he actually does quite well out of it, he plays professionally. And I said to him, what's the best tip? And he goes, mate, go to the casino. And I'm like, no, but I'm going to lose my money. He goes, you'll learn pretty quickly, So it's like, by hurting a bit, I was like, yeah, okay, I did learn pretty quickly. And you start to absorb what's happening on a poker table. You start to recognise what people are doing, and rather than just sitting there passively. And I think in business, sometimes people make that mistake. They do it passively. And I think you need to be proactive, you need to be hungry, and you need to say, okay, all right, I made a mistake, cut the losses and start fresh. Yeah. And you're probably pushing yourself outside your comfort zone too. 100%. That's the big part of change. Yeah. I'm very big on belief systems and what we believe. Yep. Because most people say, I can't do something when they have a chance, and they just reject the chance immediately, even going for it. Yes, 100%. And I think the only way to build your belief system is by pushing your comfort zone. Massively. Yeah. And I try and do it all the time. So I bungee jumped, I skydived, I scuba dive, and so many people don't scuba dive. So I'm like a recruiter for scuba diving. I'm like, let's go scuba dive. Like, no way, you're underwater, you're 10, 20 minutes underwater. Like, what happens if you need to breathe your sharks now with the whole shark attack, Sharknado, whatever that. Anyway, long story short, they're like, I'm always just, whatever and people go, oh, it's so easy for you to get on stage and speak in front of 2,000 people. And I'm like, it wasn't always. It's just now that I've pushed myself out of my comfort zone so many times, I've grown to that point. And that's what I want people from watching this interview, because I think people see you very charismatic and saying you started at 14, well, I think you started at 14, it must have been easy for you the whole way. But the truth is, the only way people get there is by pushing themselves a little bit outside their comfort zone. And I haven't told anyone this actually, so I'm about to share it with probably thousands of people. I got asked to speak the other day at the 75th anniversary of my high school, St Bernard's College. They had 700-800 people at the Flemington Racecourse in Melbourne. I flew back in from, when we did Borneo, Malaysia. Yeah. So we flew back in a couple of days back. Anyway, I don't. People are going to find this shocking if they've seen me speak before, but I never prepare to speak. So I just get up and speak, right? Because I'm all about it being authentic and from the heart. Someone said to me once, it's because I'm lazy and I didn't want to write a speech, and I'm like, no, because this exact reason. I wrote the speech for the 75th anniversary the other day. I wrote it. And it was a good speech. But my sister, who's seen me speak hundreds of times, when I got off stage, she said to me, she's like, what was that? So like, to the people that had never seen me before, yeah, it was great, and you know, like my school, you know, my old principal was there, everyone loved it. But I read the speech because I was so nervous about doing a speech to my old principal and school, and you know, I was vice captain of the school captain was there as well, and you know, my parents came, you want to do a really good job. They had the, you know, someone from the Vatican there, and you know, some of our old colleagues, they had Justin and Simon Madden, you know, all-star AFL footballers from the sort of 70s and 80s. They had the head of the Aboriginal Council of Australia went to my school. He spoke. So like, it was, I was nervous, you know, so that was me putting me out of my comfort zone. But the lesson I did learn was, I've got to stick with my gut and not write speeches, and I should never have walked up there with a piece of paper, and I should have just made it from the heart like I always do, and I'm sure I would have got an even better response.
But you've learned from it.
Yeah.
Cool. Having up a time. So I want to ask you now about mentoring and coaching. Obviously I'm in the coaching game, and I want to know what your thoughts are on coaching, because you said you had a coach at 14 or 15.
I did. So I've always, at every point in my life, had either a paid coach or mentor. And when I was 14, 15, you know, I wanted to be the best I could possibly be. And my brother put me in touch with some clients that he had, you know, real all-star players in their industry. And my brother used to, so one of the guys, was a guy named Trent Brooks. He had a thing called Guardian Medical, which is quite a big company. He was in the medical industry, but my brother used to make me pay him $50 a week. Right now, of course, the guy's worth tens of millions of dollars. He didn't need my $50. But my brother's like, if you're not paying anything, you're not going to value it. So, of course, the coach, you know, I've gone and spent time with Deepak Chopra. That cost thousands of dollars.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
When he came to Sydney, I've gone and spent time with Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within. Cool. And then, you know, with my current sort of mentors, it isn't necessarily some more coaches I'll pay for now rather than mentors. The mentors are actually more like friends now, and that's one of the big tricks with finding great mentors, actually having a friendship with them. So, you know, the likes of John McGrath from McGrath's Estate Agents, the likes of Jerry Harvey from Harvey Norman, Mark Burris, you know. So like, I get to sit on probably once a month or on a regular basis. I saw Jerry last month in Chifley Square, and I'm seeing John McGrath in 2 weeks in his office, so we're doing a session in the morning. But it's more like a catch-up, bit of friendship, find out what his opinion is on stuff. And a lot of these guys, I might text them a problem I'm having, and they might give me a call and have a chat with me, and so forth and so forth.
Perfect. Yeah, I think that's really good advice, because even just bouncing ideas off friends, as an entrepreneur, we often feel like we're so isolated that, and we can't even ask friends for. Sometimes just writing stuff down is enough to do it.
Yes, correct.
Rather than just swimming around in your head with it. So
I agree.
And for me personally, it's almost one of my favourite things to do is go to personal development, like weekends and courses. And I love spending money.
Well, we're talking about scalable and saleable a minute ago, like it doesn't feel like work, you know, but there's 4 groups in scalable and saleable now, so it's literally every weekend, but it still doesn't feel like work, you know, so I'm working all day during the week doing everything I'm doing, then on the weekends with the guys from the entourage, but it's great, it's a lot of fun.